March the 9th, 2015, I had the chance to be on a media call with Berto, Josesito Lopez, Shawn Porter, and his opponent, Roberto Garcia. Roberto Garcia is 36-3 with 23 KOs. He's won 8 fights since his last defeat in 2010, and that was against Antonio Margarito, the most high-profile fight of his career. What can you describe him as? Basically, I'm going to say this. He's a pressure fighter. As far as sit there toe-to-toe with you and, try to outthink the guy's coming to fight. Also, if you look at his background, if you didn't get a chance to see the new PBC Premier Boxing Champions Haymon series called Lights Out, what it is it was a rated G version of HBO 24/7. It was an hour long. It was Shawn Porter, Roberto Garcia, and Berto, Josesito Lopez. But basically, you got to hear Roberto Garcia talk about his life and talk about, like how he lost his parents, and it was pretty crazy stuff. But who is he as a fighter? Put it this way. He's a guy that's not going to hug you. He's a guy that's not going to run around the ring. He's going to be right there in front of Shawn Porter for Shawn Porter to dismantle if he can. Now, here's the thing. People think that Shawn Porter's just this crazy knockout guy. Realistically, he only has 15 KOs and the most brutal knockout of his career, even though he did beat Devin Alexander, was against Paulie Malignaggi. And, well, let's face it, Paulie Malignaggi, the styles just didn't mix. And at that point in time, I was going with my heart. And I understand that I picked Paulie Malignaggi to defeat Shawn Porter. Please forgive me. No one gets them all right, and we all make mistakes. But Shawn Porter, during the media call today that I was on, really made no mention of Kell Brook and going back to try to get his title from Kell Brook. And that's one thing you kind of see from our Haymon fighters these days, is that our Haymon fighters, normally after they take a loss, they usually don't go right into rematches. They build themselves up and then maybe possibly get a rematch, if not a rematch at all. So it's just something about, that I really don't agree with. But the Roberto Garcia fight is a good fight back. There was rumors on a grapevine that allegedly Chris Algieri was offered the fight on Spike TV against Shawn Porter, and that would have most likely been the main event: Shawn Porter versus Chris Algieri, and then or Chris Algieri, Shawn Porter, whatever it was, and then Berto versus Josesito Lopez. But whatever that was, it didn't happen. Then you heard about Chris Algieri maybe fighting Terrence Crawford. That didn't happen. We don't know what Chris Algieri's doing. But let's keep it on to Shawn Porter. This is a good comeback fight after being what fans were calling, to some extent, exposed against Kell Brook. To whereas in fighting a guy like Roberto Garcia, for one, it's going to please the viewers as far as the channel surfers, the people that are going to be, flicking through the channels, and they're going to be looking for TNN Impact Wrestling. Then they see some boxing. It's going to please the fans as far as, blood may be shed. Shawn Porter's been cut multiple times in fights before. Roberto Garcia is going to be right there. It's not going to be any hugging. Even though Roberto Garcia is not the better boxer, still he has the puncher chance, having more KOs, and also he has that extra added advantage of what he's been through in his life, and it's the biggest fight of his career. I just hope he doesn't pull a John Molina Jr. and understand that he's fighting on PBC. I don't care if it's just on Spike TV. It's still a very big platform, and I feel that the viewership is going to be high. It's not going to be high as the NBC because it's not free TV. It's free premium cable. It's free regular cable. So majority of the cable companies that I know of, if not all of them, have Spike TV. Over there in the UK, you guys are going to be watching on Box Nation. If not Box Nation, I don't know. That's as far as I go. I'm T Street Controversy with RealCombatMedia.com. I cover every single major fight live. What's next for Shawn Porter? If he wins, honestly, I don't know. And like I said in the earlier video, I don't know if these guys plan on fighting each other, meaning the winner of Shawn Porter versus Roberto Garcia versus Berto versus Josesito Lopez. It will be a very good fight, whichever way they mash it up, even if it's Josesito Lopez versus Roberto Garcia. But the thing is, these are all Al Haymon fighters, and Al Haymon has so many fighters at 147 and 140 pounds. What I really would like to know is if Andre Berto would ever test the waters as far as 154 pounds. Now, he did weigh 148, and he has fought at 154 in his career before, you know, meaning above the 147 pound limit. But I'm thinking, you know, at this point in his career, you know, if he was to test the waters up there, he'll be very fast, but, you know, the power, like, would he be able to take the power of a 154 pound fighter? And also, he's about 5'6". But that's just my own personal opinion. I'm T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live. I got Shawn Porter in a very exciting fight. And I'm actually thinking that it may be one of them type split decision situations. I don't think that from watching Roberto Garcia fights, remember, he hasn't lost since Antonio Margarito. Now, you may say, oh, well, Antonio Margarito was a cheater. No, this was after Antonio Margarito had lost to Shane Mosley. I believe it was his comeback fight. But since then, he's improved some things, even though he hasn't fought any really credible competition that you may really know of outside of British Prescott. You know him for knocking out Amir Khan, but he also fought Terrence Crawford, meaning British Prescott. Outside of that, it's really not much to look for, you know, as far as, you know, look for a fighter that's going to come in with a lot as far as heart is concerned. And also, you know, he does have the puncher power with those 23 KOs, even though I look at him as being somewhat of a pressure fighter. He kind of reminds me of a Ruslan Provodnikov a little bit, without that fear, that scary aura that Ruslan Provodnikov gets off, if you get what I'm saying. So, like I said, he's a very active, put it this way, he has a chance to win. I'll just leave it at that. T Street Controversy, T Street Controversy Love.